I'm a black man in stars and stripes. Like, this is about as American as it gets. And I was like, oh, sheesh. Like, he boldly, like, just committed to it. Because even Isaiah was like, don't carry that shield. Don't wear the stars and stripes. Carly Montague was like, how can you give into that bullshit? And he's like, it's not about, I'm not taking the stars and stripes and saying, I also agree with them. He's saying, I'm going to repurpose it. Because that's the point of America. Is the point of it initially was to be an experiment that constantly changes.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reaction Couch. It's Jay Nashawn here. I am with the one and the only COLTON.
What's going on, everyone? How's it hanging?
COLTON has a podcast. He's brilliant. He's a smart dude. We did a whole episode that you guys can go check out to learn more about COLTON. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and give yourself some plugs right now.
Yeah, man. So catch me on the Wrapped podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts, or even YouTube as well, whatever your vibe is, listening, watching, so on and so forth. It's a podcast all about music. I talk about a lot of music with two very good friends of mine, and there's a lot of really cool stuff to listen to.
There really is.
Yeah, so be sure to check that out. Or you can just follow me on Instagram at Colton Hinderleiter. It's a long name, but you'll figure it out. Just look up Colton Hind and maybe you'll catch me. I don't post too often, but when I do post, it's a lot about the podcast, or maybe it's about my girlfriend. I'm about to do a post about my new car. So that'd be fun. So
also for the Hamilton fans, he has is it a story, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, on my personal Instagram, there's a whole story highlight I did about extra content. For if you're a Hamilton fan, you should catch this extra content, whether it's music by like Leslie Odom or David, or it's a movie like from Anthony Ramos or whatever. If you're looking for extra stuff because you're a Hamilton addict, go check out the story highlight. You might get something that you haven't experienced before. Yes,
go check it out. And then one of them like your story.
Yeah. Actually, Anthony Ramos, he reposted a highlight I did about him. I think it was his album, the good and the bad, which is a great album. I posted, hey, if you like Anthony Ramos, like you like his voice, you should go listen to his debut album. He's actually about to drop a sophomore album this year. And he reposted it on his own story, which was pretty awesome. I DM'd him and I was like, thank you, that's incredible, you're a great artist. He said thank you, like it was really cool.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah, Anthony's a really cool guy. Like he's really dope. So all power and success to him.
Sure, very, very interesting, very creative man on the screen in front of me. Go and make sure you check out his work. We're about to hop in to some new content and fan theories and whatever we can unpack in our brains about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. How did you feel about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I really I'm wearing the shirt. I really enjoyed it. I honestly will enjoy anything that Marvel is gonna put out. I'm also enjoying the fact that they're doing this like TV show format, because we got like a 6-hour movie basically. That's what we got. It's pretty sick, right? It's a lot of content. I really enjoyed it. I also really enjoyed WandaVision as well.
WandaVision was dope.
WandaVision was incredible, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier was really cool because we got to spend time with some characters who are fan favorites, but we honestly, if you look at the screen time,
they don't get that much.
Have a lot of it.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to spend time with some more minor characters, I would say, and watch them grow and develop, setting them up for whatever the next stage is, Captain America 4 or Avengers 5 or whatever it may be, basically.
I enjoyed the nods too to like the older films. So
that's fair.
I forget what episode it was. Maybe episode 2, where they're driving and He's like, "You're not gonna move your seat up, are you?" He's like, "Nope."
Yeah.
You're not gonna move your seat up, are you?
No.
What was your favorite episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Like, what episode are you just like, man, this is the best episode?
It was probably 4 or 5. I really enjoyed the ending of 4 with John Walker just going full cray and
bro.
just like killing that man. It was very dark. I
Did you-
enjoyed that. I liked how dark it was.
You want to know something crazy? A lot of people didn't catch this. Episode 4 is The Whole World is Watching, if I'm not mistaken. The name of that episode.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be that ode of like they have their camera phones and they're literally watching this man kill someone.
But this is how good Marvel is. That do you remember Black Panther? After they're in the scene where they leave the casino and he's fighting Ulysses Claw, he finally catches up to him and he pulls his claw out and he said murder or whatever he says. He's about to slit his throat.
And then you're like don't do it, fam.
Yeah, the Dora Milaje says word for word, "My king, the entire world is watching."
Oh, mercy, king, mercy.
Every breath you take is mercy from me.
Hi, Kumkani. Elizwe Jongile.
Come on, guys, let's go, huh?
Yeah, of like don't kill this man, right?
Yeah,
that's a great catch.
So
love that.
So once I was actually another friend of mine, shout out to Catherine. She was talking. We were talking it at work, and she was like, "Yeah, it's called the Whole World is Watching." And I'm like, I literally predicted. I was like, "This was going to happen. John Walker's going to kill somebody, but I don't know who." And basically predicted it just because of that alone. And a lot of people are not catching that. And it's kind of making me sad, man. Like, and at the end of the episode, the Ayo from the Dora Milaje comes up to Bucky at the end of that episode, which was a dope nod because I was like, and that further solidifies my point. Is just like you said, it's canon. Like just to have that small, minute detail of like even naming it that and having that represented in a separate movie was like that connection to me. I was like, that's solid. That is really dope.
It's super smart. I mean, you look at WandaVision, it was really popular on TikTok, was when like James Woo, it comes out and he like does like the card trick or whatever with his hand in like episode like 3 or 4 or whatever. And people are like, oh my gosh, like he did that. It was a reference to the second Ant-Man movie when Scott is like doing magic in his house. And he's like, how did you do that? He's like, oh, I'll show you whatever. And that was it. It was like literally like a minuscule like line or whatever. But they doubled down on that. The little details and how they just like link like a spider web is just like honestly kind of insane.
I like Zemo in this.
Oh, Zemo, it's so funny. I saw some kind of meme or whatever. It's like, what a world we live in now in which we hate Captain America, but we love Zemo, right? Of like how the turns have tabled. Am I right? No, Zemo is great. Because one, he was hilarious. But they just gave him he's one of those anti-heroes now, right? Where you're like, this guy, he's kind of shady, probably a villain, but I seem to like him for some reason, and he's being quote unquote good and helpful. So he's likable as hell now.
Right. And back to that, Zemo is he can fight a little bit.
Oh, yeah, like he
I always saw him as
superhero.
I always saw him as like just soft. Like I don't
like just he's brains, right? Like he's just a smart dude. But homie like could deck people. He had driving skills, he had gun skills. I was like, wow, like he's a full on, like very well-rounded character, like a natural superhero.
I would definitely pull up to a fight with Zemo.
Oh yeah, Zemo don't give a shit. Zemo gotta pop some caps and not miss. Like it's insane.
Episode 4 is your favorite episode. The ending where
episode 4 has a really strong ending for me. Like Battlestar died. Unfortunately, I really liked him a lot.
I like Battlestar too.
I really liked him, and he died.
I did too.
they might do the typical Marvel thing where it's like he's alive, like he might come back. We don't know.
There's a multiverse now.
And yeah, it's multiverse. Like he might come back. I really enjoyed his character. He died, and then John Walker was like, "I'm gonna go full on snap, and I'm just gonna kill someone with a shield, like very brutally." Really enjoyed how dark that got.
The blood on the shield was
on the shield. It's just brutal. I was just like, yes, get dark. Let's go, Marvel. Get freaking dark. Episode 5 as a whole is strong for me because there was a lot of content in that particular episode that was just very like rich and dark and full of character development and all of this stuff. Yeah, those last 2 episodes, they hit you with the social political commentary, and I was like, yes, I've been waiting for it because it felt like they kind of danced around it a lot, and I was like, is this show really gonna end and not give commentary? And then they did, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm cool with that. Like, thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah, but a lot of people are giving it flack for that. But if you look at Captain America as a character, he is a political figure.
I mean, yeah, I also go back to the whole point, the whole Stan Lee quote where he's like, Marvel is always supposed to be a reflection of the times and a commentary on the world we're in. Like, I think I mentioned earlier, like how after 9/11, there was literally a very famous Avengers comic in which like Spider-Man like goes into like save someone from 9/11. There's like this very classical image of like him and Captain America like saving people or trying to save people from 9/11, but they're all dead. And it's like, but it's like super timely for the time. And so that's kind of like what this is. It's like, if it's gonna be any character, talk about commentary of America, it's gonna be the dude who has the symbol on his chest.
Every episode is definitely 5. It's definitely Truth.
Yeah. Truth is good.
That episode made me just sit back and think. Like, but I was very proud to be a Marvel fan. Like, I was like, hey, somebody had to say it. Like,
yeah, like it was great to have all that content in both episodes 5 and 6 of just like, they hitting you with that like alternate reality, like, because it's not real. Like, these senators or whatever are not real. And they're not directly adding anyone either. They're not like literally saying like Senator of New York, whatever. They're just trying to make this overall message of like anyone in the political space of the White House to Senate ship and onward. Like, there's some issues, and this is our perspective on said issues.
The highlight moment of the series was in episode 5. With his talk with Isaiah Bradley. Because that got deep. And just seeing Sam's character, because Sam looked up so highly to Steve. Now, I almost felt like he was going to Isaiah Bradley to be like, I need you to tell me to do it. I need you to be my Steve. Like, Steve's not here. I need you to be Steve Rogers. And he gave him I would never tell you to be that man a day in my life.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
That
scene, honestly.
But it was so great because they didn't miss. They went on to just talking about Tuskegee, syphilis experiment. Like,
that part. Yeah, two things. Tuskegee. At first, you have the airmen are coming back home after fighting in World War II, and it's just like, hey, F you. And then it was Tuskegee experiment, which was another way of telling Black people, "A, F you." We're on a more low key rate.
Yeah, we're gonna inject you with syphilis, just have you trying to thug it out, like, and basically just all the places where the country missed, and it was just heavy, especially being a Black man. You're like,
yeah. I mean, I was sitting there going like, I'm low-key in tears, and I am white. And so I can't imagine like you're sitting there, and some of the things that they were saying, I was just like, sheesh, it needed to be said, but damn.
I was just like, the movies would never.
Disney would never. But that's why it's a TV show, and it's a little bit different, but also like it also too, like once again, I really do wonder what would this show have been like if the events of 2020 didn't happen the way they did. Would there have been as strong of a message about the Stars and Stripes, the Black experience, the hypocrisy of America? Would that have been as strong as it was in the show?
I still think so. I still think
Okay.
that you can even see it going into their other movies like Black Panther, because
That's fair.
yeah, because Black Panther is basically Killmonger is basically saying they have oppressed us this whole entire time. Now we have the resources to oppress them.
Killmonger was a great character because you're kind of like, honestly, I'm with you, my dude. But I also see why what you're doing is bad. Like it was kind of like, I feel torn. That's fair. I'll take that. Yeah, the show still would have heavily hit the hammer on the head of like political issues in America. Bing, 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 bing. So yeah,
so
I think just only as a viewer watching them from last year, you're just like, that's only amplified, I think, is the point.
Him and Isaiah Bradley's talk to talk is kind of like the talk that you have with your good old grandfather. That's like,
I've seen some shit.
Yeah, I've seen some shit.
I've lived through some real shit. And you're like
I lived through this, and I thought it was brilliant how they tried to have Sam go to him as like a Cap figure.
Yeah, stand-in.
Yeah, like a stand-in, like, hey, you were basically Cap at one point. I know this. The world might not know, but I know. So you might be able to give me some Steve Rogers advice. Then, as he said, he's giving them the hard truth.
There's so many lines in there, just like carrying around that white man's shield, and I was just like, like I'm just like, basically, he's like, and then he says something too. He's like, and no self-respecting black man would pick up that would pick up that shield, and I was like, sheesh. Of just like putting Sam in this position of like, oh man, am I like going against my culture here by doing this? Or
it makes you question the blackness. It's like,
that's a fair way of putting it. I'm just like, he's questioning his own like racial identity, and I was like, heartbreaking.
Sam is already experiencing that. He already knows, and I think it's good that people may disagree with it, disagree with the political commentary, political innuendos, all you want to, but you still have to. This is the world we live in. Like, I don't know if you remember back when they dropped the first Miles Morales comic.
Right.
People were pissed. Like, people were genuinely pissed.
People out here bucking because they're like, Spider-Man ain't black. And you're like, but
Spider-Man can't be black.
When was that defined? Stanley never came forward and said, hey, here's this white boy. He only white. He never did that shit. He said he had a mask. I don't give a shit what he looked like.
Literally. So I remember people being angry about that. People were angry about the Miss Marvel series. Like,
Miss Marvel, like why she have to be Muslim and Arab? Like, why can't she, like, why isn't she's a white girl? And it was like, no, that's not defined or whatever.
Like, it does not matter. Like, these are fictional characters. You still have those people that are like, Sam, like a black Captain America, like, oh my God, you're pandering again. Even though there's sometimes I do think Marvel panders, but these are not one of those times. These are not those times. You're not
for
pandering.
Sure. There's times where it just is like, y'all really tokening right now. Like, y'all just trying to get that slow clap.
Yeah.
But, I get that, but this doesn't, you can tell when they're doing that. This doesn't feel like that. It's also literally in the comics. So
it's literally in the comics. So
some of the people are like, in the comments again, I'm like, it's like, why the comics do that and whatnot. It's like, bro, Falcon has been around like since the 20th century. Like, he's been in the comics as a black man for a minute.
Not only were they just talking about racial politics, they're class.
The refugee commentary,
Yeah, the refugee commentary,
the immigration commentary was
the conversation on class was spicy.
I was like,
it was good.
Because it was very much in the face of like when he said, he's like, do you not feel a responsibility to take care of these people? And that one senator just said, no, it is not the government's responsibility to take care of other people from other countries. And I was like, they just put that shit blunt as hell. That's some stuff that you would literally read on C-SPAN where they're just like, yes and no, black and white. That's our answer.
Yeah.
And he was like, but you should, because of XYZ, very strong reasoning of in our world of the blip relating to immigration or war equals refugees in like other countries and stuff. And I was like, yeah, like why not take care of them? Because that could be you.
Literally on that same token, when he was talking about and who was all in these rooms, which
people look like you.
You don't think it's crazy, but when he said that, you know who Selm is?
Who?
Selm is Aaron Burr. He wants to be in a room where it happens.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Sam, in that moment, it's like Sam wants to be in the room where it happens, or he's trying to convey to them, he's like,
you need people like us to be in the room where it happens.
You need a diverse set of people. I that's a fair point too. Like he said, like, you need people in the room. Y'all don't get it. Like, there's no one else in the room is like, we should fight for these refugees because I was one and I experienced this in an ICE camp and I experienced this bull crap and all this other shit. That it's like, so should we give them funding? And it's like, nah, it's fine. We've got the reports from the other people of our same class who said it was fine. And it's like, they're not the ones in cages, bro. So yeah, like they just don't have the perspective that they need. A great analogy someone told me yesterday was the treadmill, in which you're on a treadmill at Planet Fitness and you can only see the screen in front of you and you're just running. And that's all you see. But if you actually got off the treadmill and you stepped back for a second and you saw all of these other people on different treadmills of different speeds, inclines, body shapes, all kinds of different people on them, you kind of wake up for a moment and you're like, oh, that's not the only way to run on a treadmill. You know what I'm saying?
The confidence that they had him display really was really dope. Just busting in the window, episode 6, early, busting the window, hit with the shield, picking it up, being, who are you? I'm Captain America. I thought he was on the moon.
like, nah, I'm here. Or just,
I'm right here. The confidence that they had him display really was really dope. Just busting in the window, episode 6, early, busting the window, hit with the shield, picking it up, being, who are you? I'm Captain America. I thought he was on the moon.
like, nah, I'm here. Or just,
I'm right here.
Yeah, or like how I said too, he's standing there talking to them. He says, I'm a black man in stars and stripes. Like, this is about as American as it gets. And I was like, oh, sheesh. Like, he boldly like just committed to it. Because even Isaiah was like, don't carry that shield. Don't wear the stars and stripes. Carly Montague was like, how can you give into that bullshit? And he's like, it's not about, I'm not taking the stars and stripes and saying, I also agree with them. He's saying, I'm going to repurpose it. Because that's the point of America. Is the point of it initially was to be an experiment that constantly changes. The museum scene was honestly the saddest part and the most beautiful way of like he's in the museum.
But I
history.
teared up. It was
it was so fucking good because you're just because at that moment he's like he kind of feels like, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe because I got effed over so much that now when someone actually does something good for me in the eyes of my relationship with like America as a black man, maybe he's gonna change his mind a little bit. But I can't blame him. Someone has to do something though. Someone has to kind of step out and be like, what happened to you was shitty.
What's wrong?
We will fix it with this solution. Bet. Okay. Step 1, meet these people halfway, because they met America halfway a long time ago and America did not meet them.
Episode 6. favorite character?
That's a great question, honestly. In the whole series,
Whole series.
it's probably Sam. Just because of how much he evolved.
So much character growth, really.
Lot of character growth, and we spent a lot of time with him. I think it was Sam. If it's not Sam, like maybe a minor character level, I kind of really enjoyed John Walker, not because I liked him.
Yeah.
Because I liked the fact that he existed within this story of like, you got this other Captain America poser out here, and as an audience member, you hated him. You hated him till the very end. But I love having a character like that who you can hate because he's so he's kind of complex. Like when he was killing that one dude at the end of episode 4, I was like, yes, do it. Do something shitty. Do something crazy. You fucking villain. Do it.
Yeah, he's definitely a polarizing character. You're like,
but then the end, he's like, I'm U.S. agent. And I was like, and now you're like, I don't know how to feel about him anymore. Or you'll see, maybe your mind will change with the next movie or series or whatever. But I liked how complex his character was. And also, Wyatt Russell acted the shit out of that role. Like he was a great actor.
He really did.
He was, because when he looks at him in episode 5 and he's like, I am Captain America. I was like, it was almost like that moment in It where like Pennywise's eyes like cross out like this. Like he looks like deranged.
Yeah.
He looks like a rabid dog. I was like, this guy is incredible.
I think I'm gonna have to give a favorite character to Bucky.
Bucky also had a lot of growth over the course of the show too.
And Bucky can play football for any American football team because he catches everything.
Yeah, homie's arm is different. Like he's really
built different.
He really is. And yet he's kind of a wild card too. You know, like where you're like, I don't really know what's happening sometimes with his character, where it's like he's being Winter Soldier-y, he's being Bucky, he's being sad boy. Like he is always has his foot in a different pool. So I can see why you liked him so much during the show.
Yeah, and that's his whole, because you have to think about it too, because they mentioned it in the show. Like he's like at this point like 90 years old technically. Like
oh yeah, I forget.
Going on his like a date per se in episode 2, I believe, was just like I'm 90. I don't know how to talk to women. Like what is gay? I don't spit that anymore. Like
at the end too, when he had to tell that one guy he was hanging out with that I killed your son, I was like, it's so awkward, and it's so.
I knew that was gonna happen. I was so waiting for that not to happen. Like, that was like,
I thought they honestly would be like, hey, I gotta talk to you. Cut to him leaving apartment, but it was straight up like, hey, killed your son, dude. I was like, so awkward, but it was very nice. Honestly, it was just like you're in the room with Bucky a lot, where you're just like you're in his head. That was cool.
With just the series as a whole too, how they're setting up the characters. Each character really has a setup for the future, except for, in my opinion, Bucky and Cat. I feel like the story is based on what I know, but they closed them out. They really didn't set them up for a next step.
They're just kind of like, hey, listen, if you need, me, I'll be here. But it's more so like the loose ends that we're curious about of like, where are all these other characters going? Like we're seeing the inception of their beginning, similar to how, Bucky and Sam from Winter Soldier, like how they started, and we're like, what's going to happen with them? Is Bucky going to become good? Is Sam going to become like the right-hand Falcon man to Captain America? Like that happened. So now they've kind of closed them out. We're kind of like, okay, I can put you on ice for a minute. I'm gonna let you do your thing. I'm very happy with where you're at. I'm glad you're succeeding in life. Now I'm curious about all these other loose end characters. What is going on with them? Power Broker, Zemo, all of them.
Yeah. So how do we feel about Shannon?
Man, what a What a trip her character took, where she was like, I'm gonna be in Captain America, and I was like, cool. And then she's like, I'm like the daughter of Peggy, and I was like, that's cool. And then she made out Captain America, and I was like, okay. And then she went away, and I was like, all right, sure, that was a cool character to experiment with. That was fun. And they just bring her back, and then she's acting all weird, and now she's like a fighter. And then it was like, I'm the power broker, and I was like, wow, there's a lot going on here. I'm like,
I still call Cap on that. I still don't think that she's the power broker because she never said it. She never said it. She never said it herself.
Yeah, she never said it, or whatever little scheme she's playing at. Like she's like
definitely shady.
Yeah, super shady. I don't know. I liked that because I was like, yeah, like this is a really fun character to watch, like bounce around between. I don't know how I feel about her. Is she good? Is she bad? Should I trust her? Whatever. So I enjoyed that. But I was also just like, this girl been through some shit. Like she had a trip. Like she went from like literally like Peggy Carter's like, descendant, like the like OG awesome, like good American, like dope woman to suddenly like, man, who hurt you? Yeah, her character was very intriguing because it was like, we haven't literally seen you since since I was in high school. And the movie came out when I was in high school. And like she's back, and I'm like, I'm a grown ass adult, and she's coming back. Like it's just so interesting to bring her back and see what happens. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about her, except for I like her from the perspective of, as I mentioned before, I like complex characters. As a viewer, I'm like, I don't trust her.
Who's your least favorite character?
Carly Montague.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry. Like,
really?
I thought the girl who played her was fantastic. She was a great actress. I really, really liked her performance. It just and I liked that there was a character who was like so radically extremist, like really just so radical that she couldn't see the inhumaneness and the hypocrisy in her own doings. I enjoyed that a lot. It's just that after a while, by the time we got to episode 6, I was like, is this girl, are we done here? It felt like the same shit, different title every episode with her. I felt like the growth of her character stopped, which I understood. As I said, I liked her as a radical extremist. You can't reason with her. I liked that. But there's no growth. Like past episode 4, like she killed someone, and it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this shit. I was like, and then she died. I was like, okay, there's nothing else for you to do but die. I'm like,
yeah,
I lost interest in her. Like I was just like, can you just go away already? Like I am honestly beginning to feel like Sam or Bucky now, or John Walker. I'm just like, put this chick in jail. Like I'm tired of her ass. Like I get it. You did your thing. You did the commentary. Everyone gets it. She was on the same message as Sam was, but Sam could translate better. She couldn't translate at all about what the issues actually were. She was just like radical extremism, and I'm like, you've lost sight of your purpose. I'm tired of you.
I agree with that, actually.
What was your character before?
My character before you said that was honestly Battlestar.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would say the acting, him as an actor, good, but I don't like how he they really were just dragging him along to get killed, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Like if they didn't kill him, like then what was the point of him being in the show? Because there was literally negative 18 growth there.
Because he doesn't talk much, and when he does
do
talk,
anything, yeah,
the most
kind
potent
of
line
there.
The most potent line he had in the entire series was when John Walker asked him if you could, would you take the serum? It only turns you into what you already are.
Yeah, I was like, that was a great line. What you are.
Yeah, that was one of the best lines of the show. Top 5.
Top 5 for sure.
But other than that, he was just around, just taking orders, very sidekick vibe. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he don't really gotta be there. And when your boy is off his rockers and you know he's off his rockers, like before when Sam and Carly were talking, and John Walker was like, "I'm gonna go in there," and they're all like, "No, don't go in there. Like, I got it." Like, and he was just all in the back, kind of like,
Yeah.
like, where do we go next from here? This series pertaining to this series. Where do you think this series goes next? Do you think that Sam Wilson will be a better Captain America than Steve Rogers?
Yes. Like
That was easy.
It's easy. I like Steve Rogers. It just during some parts of his arc, he came off as like so self-righteous. It was annoying. It was like,
Yeah.
it was too much. Like I really enjoyed when he became Nomad and he was like all dark and like scruffy and crap at the top of Infinity War. That was great because I was like, finally, like you stop being America's good old poster boy. You know what I'm saying? Like it just was like so like it became too goody two shoes. To the point that I was like, honestly, bro, I kind of disagree with you. Like, just some of your choices you're making are not good. You're stupid. So versus Sam has a lot stronger moral compass and a more interesting reasoning for the choices that he will make. Versus Steve is just like, I'm doing it because America, or I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. And I'm like, in this situation, the right thing to do is actually left up to interpretation. So it's not. Yeah, Steve, he was fine. I like Steve. And I just think that sometimes I was like, ugh, kind of killing me, dude. You're annoying the shit out of me right now, honestly. So I will prefer Sam at the end of the day when he settles into it more.
The Reaction Couch Power Rankings. What are your ratings on Falcon and the Winter Soldier? 1 to 10.
I would give it like an 8, I would say.
Solid. Very solid.
I'd say pretty solid. Like a minimum 7. But I look at 8 as 8 means great. It was great.
Right. So what did you give WandaVision? Because you like
I give that a 9. I give that a 9. Excellent is what I would give that one.
Okay.
Ain't no 10s yet. Ain't no perfect yet. There's definitely missing chunks that both of those shows kind of missed for me. Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean to say they're bad. They're both very well done.
Very well done. I was looking forward to this and this delivery. So I might actually give it a 9. And just thinking about the last episode, how Sam really just took control and was using the shield.
The message was strong.
I give this a 9.
We'll see. I think Loki and Hawkeye are going to be much more my vibe. I think those might be more along the 10 line or high 9 for me. But yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier, like it was a great show.
I've never really liked Loki as a character. Like I like Loki, but I never really like. I'm not looking. I'm gonna watch it. You know,
I like Loki,
but I'm not looking like forward to be like, oh man, Loki has his own like TV show. Like I'm gonna.
That's fair. I kind of sit in that same boat, but
I'm excited to see.
Yeah,
Tom work.
Yeah, what is it gonna be like when we spend a lot of time with him? What other characters are we gonna see? I also think too, the concept of it is gonna be so very interesting that might keep my interest. So like we're time traveling, we're in space, and Owen Wilson is here. Like it just is gonna be very, very like a very different show, kind of like WandaVision, where you're like, this is very different, and therefore I think it'll be stronger on its concept a little bit more than WandaVision, and on a more strategic plot line than WandaVision. So I think it's just gonna be better as a result.
Would you rewatch Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I definitely would. There's a lot that I would like to go back and reflect on. There's a lot of little Easter eggs that I kind of maybe missed the first time around.
Yes.
There's a lot of juicy
definitely
content.
A lot of commentary that I'm going to have to go back and be like.
Yeah. That went over my head the first time. I was looking for the main surface plot. So I would.
Still sitting and talking about it. I'm thinking of more things like, dang, they really
They snuck that in there.
Yeah,
I need to
like
go
they
back
were
and catch
doing
that.
hard.
I agree. Yeah, I would for sure rewatch it. I definitely will at some point in the future for sure.
Everybody out there, go watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus. It is freaking phenomenal. Thanks for joining me, Coy. Thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me. It's been incredible, honestly.
No problem, man. Go ahead and drop your handles again.
Yeah, you guys can catch me on Instagram at Colton Hindelater. Catch my podcast also on Instagram at Wrapped Podcast. You can even find us on like Twitter. We have a website as well. All the links are in like a link tree on the Instagram. So just open that up and you've got literally everything.
And the links will be in my description as well. Thank you, Colton. Have me on your platform soon.
I will.
So we can talk music.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got you. We gotta trade for sure.
We gotta trade for sure. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Peace, y'all.